Welcome to episode 12 of Enjoy the Journey with Aaron Chambers. And today I want to talk to you about forgiveness. The whole world on social media right now is talking about what happened yesterday in a courtroom in Texas where Dallas police officer Amber Geiger was sentenced to 10 years in prison for the tragic death of Botham Jean. She came into actually his apartment. He'd been sitting there on the couch eating ice cream and just enjoying his evening. And she walked in thinking it was her apartment, and she shot him and killed him. It's a horrible, horrible injustice and sickening. And and she's going to prison for 10 years. Well, what's getting everybody's attention is not just the trial and the verdict, but what his brother Brandt Jean did in the courtroom. He spoke to Amber before her sentencing, and he showed Christ-like love, grace, and forgiveness. And if you haven't seen it, I'm going to show you a clip of it real quick.
Mr. Jean, the floor is yours.
I don't want to say twice or for the 100th time what you've or how much you've taken from us. I think you know that. But I hope you go to God with all the guilt, the bad things you may have done in the past. Each and every one of us may have done something that we're not supposed to do. If you truly are sorry, I know I can speak for myself. I forgive you, and I know if you go to God and ask Him, He will forgive you. And I don't think anyone could say it. Again, I'm speaking for myself, not even behalf of my family. But I love you just like anyone else. And I'm not gonna say I hope you rot and die just like my brother did, but I personally want the best for you. And I wasn't gonna ever say this in front of my family or anyone, but I don't even want you to go to jail. I want the best for you, because I know that's exactly what both of them would want you to do. And the best would be give your life to Christ. I'm not gonna say anything else. I think giving your life to Christ would be the best thing that both of them would want you to do. Again, I love you as a person, and I don't wish anything bad on you. I don't know if this is possible, but can I give her a hug, please? Please?
Yes. Thank you very much.
I watched that for the first time yesterday. I sat and cried. It was like looking at Jesus. Jesus is the model for forgiveness. He modeled that for us when he was on the cross and he was dying for our sins. In Luke 23:34, we read, Jesus said, "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do." He was being crucified, executed in a horrible fashion, and was experiencing injustice. And his response was to offer forgiveness. Here's a couple things about forgiveness. First thing I want to say is this: forgiveness is a transfer of power. We all have been wronged. We all have people for whom we have anger and frustration, resentment, all kinds of feelings. But what I've realized is forgiveness is really a transfer of power, because when we are hurt, when we are angry, when we are wanting revenge, and not forgiving somebody, we are investing a ton of power, and we're allowing that person to have a ton of power over us. We're allowing them to consume our thoughts, our passions, our day. We are just giving that person so much power to own us and to direct our lives. And so forgiveness is really a transfer of power. It's really taking that power back and saying, I'm not going to let you have that much power over me anymore. And that's really what Brandt did yesterday with Amber. Is he took the power back and said, I am going to use the power, instead of letting you have that power over me for the next many years for what you did to my brother. I'm going to take that power back and I'm going to use it to love you. And when you forgive somebody, it's taking that power back. It's a transfer of power. Don't let someone else have that much power over you. Take it back and use it for good. Forgiveness is also transformational. It changes everything. It's really interesting when you are not forgiving somebody, when you're holding a grudge against somebody. It's as if they're trapped in the dungeon of your soul. You create this prison in the dungeon of your soul, and you enjoy having that person locked up. And if they hurt you, you go there as much as you can, and you tell them you are a horrible person, you wronged me, and you deserve this, and you shake your finger at them. Every single day, you draw a lot of pleasure from going to see them in the dungeon of your soul. And they're prisoners, so every prisoner's innocent, right? So they will say, whatever they want to say, whatever they do, it doesn't matter. It's just a prisoner. They're dehumanized. And so nothing they do matters. They are just a prisoner, and you want them to die a prisoner. I want to challenge you in the area of forgiveness. I want to challenge you to release that person who's locked in the dungeon of your soul. Let them go. It's transformational, because here's the thing. If you're going down every day and reminding somebody of how much they hurt you because they're locked in the dungeon of your soul, they're a prisoner, you're a warden. And what's sad is you're there by choice. Like, you're free to go home. You're free to do something else. But you are choosing to use your freedom to go to the dungeon of your soul and just let somebody know how much you hurt me. And I want to challenge you. Forgiveness is transformational. When you forgive somebody, you free yourself. You're no longer a warden. You are a fellow human being. And that's important. Another thing is this, is you free them. They go from an object of scorn and ridicule and hatred to a person and somebody who's created in the image of God. It transforms them, it liberates them, and they'll experience a newfound freedom as they interact with you. It also changes the world. That's what's so fascinating about this thing with what Brandt did yesterday, was it's millions of people are captivated by the image of true Christ-like forgiveness. It's amazing. As I wrap up, I want to say a few things. The first thing is this: I want to challenge you to embrace God's forgiveness. You may feel no better than your worst mistake, and that's what Satan does. He likes to remind us of how bad we are. And some of you are just reluctant to embrace God's forgiveness, and you just feel so horrible. And so the person that you have locked in a dungeon of your soul is you, and you go down there and you're like, you are horrible, you are a failure, da-da-da. I want to encourage you with some truth. 1 John 1:9, if we confess our sins, he is faithful and just to forgive us our sins and cleanse us from all unrighteousness. Allow the love of Jesus Christ, what he did on the cross, to matter in your life and to you. So embrace God's forgiveness. And the second thing is this: I want to challenge you to share God's forgiveness. Share it. That, as you've seen in the world's reaction to Brandt Jean's loving words to the woman who shot his innocent brother and killed him. The world is stunned. The world is shocked. It is so refreshing to see that kind of love lived out, and people are sharing it and talking about it because it is so incredible. And I want to challenge you: be somebody who shows Christ-like grace, love, and forgiveness. And if you and I do that, the world will stop and take notice.